What's good, y'all? I'm Hip, and I'm back with another video. And today, I'm going to tell y'all about the time the police ran in the spot. Let's go. So for those that don't know, I'm a recovering drug addict. I've been using drugs for 20 years, and I currently have 10 months clean and sober. And on this channel, I talk about some of the shit I done did and things I done went through. So hopefully y'all don't make the same mistakes I did, because I did some stupid ass shit for real. And today, I'm going to tell y'all about when the police ran in my house. So this was like 2008, I believe. And I was working, but I was also hustling on the side. That's pretty much always been my MO, you know. I always had a job, but I always sold shit on the side to make some extra money. And I sold just about anything I could to make money. And one of the products I was selling was weed. So at the time, I wasn't selling little shit like dimes and quarters and shit like that. I had like 4 people that would buy a quarter pound to a half pound a week. I didn't even have any scales that worked. Like I had some of the little handheld scales, but they was broke. When they would call and place an order, I would call my guy and I would tell him what I needed and he would come and drop it off to me. So one of the guys that was buying from me, I can't even remember his name. For the sake of the video, we'll call him Ben. So I met Ben at work. He started working at my job, and he only worked there for like a month. But Ben was also selling weed. And it's crazy because I started off buying from him and giving it to my people. After a couple weeks, something happened. He couldn't get it anymore. So then he started buying from me. Now, Ben was on probation, and Ben was sketchy as hell and paranoid as fuck. Every time I would go to his apartment to meet him, it would be some weird ass shit like pull around the side, park by the dumpsters, walk around the building, act like you're smoking a cigarette, act like you're going to an apartment across the way. Always some crazy stuff like that. It was just weird. On this particular day, Ben called me and was trying to get a quarter pound. So I called my guy. My dude comes through and drops it off. He pulls up, I get it, I take it in the house and put it in my bedroom in my dresser. Now on this day, I had to go to work. And it's like 2:30, 3 o'clock at this point. And I had to be at work at 4. So I called Ben and tell him, yo, I got it, but you gotta wait till I get off work for me to bring it to you. I needed to get something to eat, and there was a little barbecue place 3-4 blocks down the road. I didn't have a license at the time. I was just driving, reckless. I get about halfway there, so a couple blocks down the road, and I see blue lights in the mirror. I look, and it's not a police car, it's like a minivan. And so I pull over, it's a detective. He come up to the car. I asked him, I'm like, why'd you pull me over? Because I wasn't speeding or nothing. I knew I didn't have no license. I got my seatbelt on, I'm going to speed limit, all that. He said, I pulled you over because I know you don't have a license, Mr. Pete. He called me by my name, which I thought was weird. And he said, yeah, I know who you are. And he said, give me your phone and step out the car. Now, back in 2008, we didn't have smartphones yet. So it was like a little flip phone, I think. No password to get in, nothing like that. And he said, do you have any drugs in the car? No, I don't have any drugs in the car. He said, do you have any drugs at the house? I said, no, there's nothing at the house. And he pat me down, all that. And next thing I know, there's like 3 more police cars pull up. And I'm like, oh shit, here we go. He goes back to his car, and then he comes back, and he's like, well, from the messages in your phone, I think you got something at the house. I'm finna go get a search warrant for your house. So he gets in his car, he goes to the police station and leave me with the real officers. They asked me, could they search the car? And I'm like, yeah, you can search the car, do whatever you want to do. So they search the car, they don't find anything. They have the dogs. The dogs go around the car, and I didn't see the dog do anything. But the police said that the dog hit on the trunk. He said, well, since the dog hit on your car, we're going to take it anyways. They got me in handcuffs. I'm in the back of the police car. And while I'm sitting there, I hear my address come over the intercom. So now my heart drops. So I know it's over with now because they're going to my house. After a few minutes, the police comes back, get in the car, and we head to my house. Now, my street is shaped like a U. Like, when we pull up to the street, I bullshit you not, like, they had both sides of the street blocked off. So there was the SWAT truck, like 3 regular trucks, like undercovers. The van was there that the other detective was driving. There's like 3 other police cars. There's dudes with guns, dogs, all that. You would have thought I was the Birdman. I know I'm in trouble, but I'm kind of excited about it at the same time. I'm like, damn, all this for little old me? It was just crazy, man. It's like some shit in the movies, you know what I'm saying? All this, and I know all I had was like a quarter pound of weed. So they acted like I was really doing something, you know. So at my house is me, my mom's, and my stepdad that lived there, and my daughter. But she wasn't there. She was either at daycare or at her mom's house, one of the two. But my brother and his girlfriend lived right down the street. They had a daughter, and she was like 7, I think. And when she would get off the bus from school, she would come to our house till they got home. And so she was there. So while I'm sitting in the car, I see my brother's girlfriend pull up. And I'm in the back window, I'm yelling, I'm like, hey, let me get a cigarette. And she looked at me like I'm crazy, and then she just take off towards the house. I'm like, damn, no cigarette. The detective that originally pulled me over comes back to the car. And he said, okay, we found the weed in your room. And we found the weed in your living room. It was a little basket on top of the monitor of my computer that had my blunt shells and my personal weed in there, which I had like maybe a quarter. We found the bullets to your gun. I didn't have the gun at the house. He said, where's the gun? I was like, it's not here. He said, is there anything else in the house? I didn't know if there was something I forgot about, but I didn't want nobody else to get in trouble because I'm already going to jail. So I told him, whatever you find in the house is mine. The police come back to the car and take me to the police station. They got me in the interrogation room, handcuffed to the table, whatever. And he tells me, you know, you can help yourself out. If you want to tell us where you got it from, we can get you out of here. We can let you go. Said, no, I'm good. When you get into the game, you know you face that chance of going to jail. You might die. You know what I'm saying? You got to accept that when you come in. And if you get caught, you just take your lick. You know what I'm saying? You don't tell on the next man to try and get out of it. That ain't real, you know. And that's just how I always been. He said, we don't have nothing else to talk about, do we? I said, nope. There's not a jail in Smyrna. Like, it's just a police station. But they got a magistrate and stuff there. So what they do, once you get your charges, if you can make bond in like an hour or so, they'll let you make bond and bond out of there and you can go home. If not, they'll take you to Murfreesboro, which is the closest big city to us in the same county. Then you got to bond out from there instead. So it's a longer process. The charge they got me with was possession of Schedule 6 with intent to resell. And I believe my bond was like $5,000. So luckily, My people made my bond in like 30, 45 minutes. They got me out of there. So I didn't have to go to Murfreesboro and do all that. When I get home, my mom and stepdad, they're visibly upset. You know, they're not happy with me at all. And they tell me about how they busted in the house. SWAT team with like AR-15s and shit, had guns on them. My stepdad, his heart was bad. Like, he done had like 4 open heart surgeries at this point, I think. They wouldn't even let him get up to get his medicine because he's freaking out, you know what I'm saying? And they put the guns on him and told him to sit down. It was bad, you know, it was crazy. And I felt bad because I put them in that situation because they didn't do nothing wrong, you know what I'm saying? It was me being selfish and stupid and all that. Police pretty much destroyed my room. Like, there was shit everywhere. They took some pictures that I had. They took some of my clothes. They took my computer. They took my bullets. And I found out when I was at the police station, they went to my brother's house. Somehow they found out the gun was in my brother's house. They went over there and they got the strap. So Ben blocked me on Facebook, never could get a hold of the guy again. When I went to court, I would find out why. Before I went to my first court date, some people at work tell me, yo, it was detectives up here asking about you. So the first time I go to court, the detective that arrested me seen me and he called me by my nickname. He said, hey, hip hop, don't be telling your co-workers that we came to your house and put guns on your mama and your daddy. And he just laughed and kept it moving. And so he really was at work, like asking people about me, talking to them and stuff. The most I was facing was 6 or 8 years if found guilty at trial. So at first they were offering me like 6 years to plead guilty. I had a public defender at the time. They had baggies. They said it had weed residue in it, something crazy like that. So they was using that as evidence. They had pictures of like me and my daughter, and I had a gun in the picture. They had a confidential informant that told them I sold weed by the ounce, which was inaccurate because I only sold quarter pounds, half pounds. The next time we go to court, they offered me 3 years. And the lawyer said, we're not going to take that. In the state of Tennessee, when you get your first felony, you are eligible for diversion, which means that they give you a 2-year suspended sentence. And if you complete probation for the whole 2 years, you can then have that felony expunged off your record like it never happened. That's what ended up happening. So I took the plea deal and I got 2 years on diversion. The Ben guy was the informant. That's why I could never get a hold of him again, because he blocked me on social media. Never seen the kid again. You know, it's crazy. I guess since he was on probation and he got jammed up in something, then he want to turn on me. That's what happened with him. Never, I still to this day hadn't seen him. But some people ain't built for this, you know. So now I'm on probation. The crazy thing is I kept smoking weed. So what I would do when I would have to go to probation, I would drink one of the detox drinks and drink a bunch of water. It worked for a while. And then a little over a year since I got on probation, we were finna go on vacation with the kids to Florida. And so when you're on probation, you got to ask for a travel pass. You're not allowed to leave the state. So I go in, do my regular thing, tell him I want to go out of town. And he said, okay, well, you've been doing good so far. We just got to take a drug test. You pass the drug test, you can go. Take the drug test. I failed. Stupid. When they sent it out to the lab, when it come back, it was inconclusive. And so they couldn't do anything as far as the drug test went. So I didn't get violated, nothing like that. A few months later, I only had like 3 months left on probation. I got another drug test, failed again. This time when they sent it to the lab, it came back positive. Luckily, he didn't violate me. They put me in a drug class that I had to go to for like 8 weeks where I would also get drug tested. This is when I finally stopped smoking weed because I'm like, man, I only got 3 months left. I can get this felony out of my record, have a clean slate, whatever. And so I stopped smoking weed. Now, for the first week, I was an asshole to everybody because I was used to smoking weed every single day, all day. Like, I wouldn't go to the gas station when I was smoking weed. I wouldn't go to work without smoking weed. As soon as I wake up to when I went to sleep, I was high all day, every day. So for the first week, I was an asshole to everybody, didn't want to be at work. But after a week, it got a little easier. And so I ended up making it the whole last 3 months. And I eventually got the felony expunged off my record. So it was a small victory, but it didn't last long because I ended up getting more felonies. A few more. But we'll talk about that in another episode. Because that's about it for today. I appreciate y'all joining me, man. Appreciate all the love and support from everybody. If you like this, you got anything out of it, hit that like button. Let me know. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so that way I can let you know whenever I drop a new video. And y'all comment down below. Let me know what y'all want me to talk about and we'll get it popping. I appreciate y'all. I'll catch y'all on the next one.